Sunday night football, 12-1 after our last 4 videos. Let's get after it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Craig Ben, aka Cash Cake, here at dailyedgesports.com. We're going to talk a little bit of Sunday night football. We're going to have the LA Rams heading into the Detroit Lions. High total in this one. Should be a lot of fantasy points put up there. So we got 3 plays for you. Getting 12-1 over the last 4 videos. Hopefully we can keep this up for you. Put a little coin in your pocket. If you don't have that Underdog account, you want to join along with these, use that promo code CashK and get yourself a free pick and bonus cash up to $1,000. You can also, if you're a first-time depositor, get access to our elite membership. And speaking of that, I'm going to start putting these videos behind our elite membership paywall for the first, 2 or 3 hours, and then I will post them out to everybody here. So we're going to continue to do that. Might not be that important for NFL, but once NBA hits, I do know these lines move a ton, especially when we start posting these videos. So it's going to be important to get on those lines early. So again, if you want access to that, you can join our elite subscription model. So with that, we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about 3 plays in this game. Should be a lot of fun. And let's get after it. All right, I have the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em desktop up here. They got a sweet mobile app you can download as well. And high total in this one. Looking at the implied team totals for both teams. LA Rams sitting at 24, and the Detroit Lions are favored by 4.5 here. They are 28.5. So getting 4 touchdowns in this game, and I think there's a few ways we can definitely attack this. Yeah, I mean, big thing here is Cooper Kupp is, kind of coming back, and, he was injured a lot last year, so that should definitely have to help the passing game, speaking of on the Rams side. And then, over on, Detroit side, on the Rams side, they do have a departure with Aaron Donald on the D-line. I think that's going to hurt them a little bit. I mean, it's hard to replace a guy like that. But over on the Lions side, yes, we're going to still see Gibbs playing, but he was have that hamstring injury through training camp, and so maybe they're not going to give him as much of a workload. There's nothing out there that says that, just more kind of a gut call on that one. But we're going to dive in. We're going to talk about 3 plays here. Again, you can get access to all our tools that we have over at dailyedgesports.com. As you can see, we have custom projections for all the stats up here that you can pull all these up, sort by whatever you want. This is for all of Sunday, recording this early Sunday morning before we get after it, and just thought I would show you what you would get with your Daily Edge Sports membership. All these tools for PrizePicks, Underdog, and then we also have a DK Pick 6 model as well, which is freaking awesome. So with that, we'll dive back in, talk about some plays. Let's start on the Detroit side of things, and I think I want to start with David Montgomery. Again, like I said, I think Gibbs is going to be a little bit hampered, or they're not going to, maybe they don't push him as hard with that, with the hamstring injury they did have. I still think he's going to play, but I think there's a few ways we could look at this with David Montgomery. If we just want to look at rush yards at 54.5, even when both of them were playing, he cleared this number in 13 of 17 games at a 76% clip. So I think that is very fair to go that route. Now, it's hard to look at the LA rush defense because, again, Aaron Donald clogged up that middle a ton, and I think that's just going to hurt him. I think they're going to take a step back, a little regression there. I still think he gets it done. He had 3 games where he's over 100. If I have to look back, I'm assuming those were a couple of the games that Gibbs sat. But still, they use him quite a bit. And I have no problem there. But I think where I want to be at is Montgomery's rush and reception touchdown. They get down in that red zone. They like to run him. If we look at started the season off last year, had touchdowns in the first 4 games. Again, cleared this number in 13 of 17 games at a 76% clip. Now, if you go up and look at last year's rush defense with the Rams, they were number 1 against touchdowns. But again, I think Aaron Donald leaving this a high total. I mean, that's 4 touchdowns for the Lions here. I have a hard time thinking that Montgomery is not going to get in the end zone, one of them. We're looking at red zone attempts. He was, averaging around 3.5 red zone attempts, when he gets down there, rush attempts, which you like to see. And I just think that, he's going to get in the box for us. So if you don't feel comfortable with that one, because, the variance and touchdowns, like I said, I would go that rushing yards because they do love to run the ball. And one of those two is where I would land at with them. And I might run two different 3-mans with these 3 picks and just switch that one, because that's the one I think you can go either or. Next one we're going to go to Cooper Kupp. Coming in healthy this year. People might say, well, maybe he regressed. It's not the Cooper Kupp we've seen of old. I still think it's going to be. I don't, he's still an elite wide receiver. Yes, he's getting up there in age, but at 5.5 is just too low at this number. Last season, when he came in and played those first 2 games, he had 8 and 7 receptions. 5.5, I think, is where I want to be. I mean, last year, that's where you attacked the Rams. They were ranked 24th in receptions allowed to wide receiver at 13.5. And you could just beat them up here. Juice is -138 if you're looking at the books a little bit. And then when he came back in December a few times, 6, 8, 8, and 6 head-to-head matchups. He did put up only 5 in Detroit on January 14th. But he had 9 targets that game, right? So we all know Puka had a lot of that target share when Kupp was down. If we look at last year's stats for 2023's target share, Puka had a 29% target share where Kupp had 18. I think it's going to be closer to probably, Kupp's going to retake quite a bit of that. I still think Nakua's going to have quite a bit, but I think they're going to want to get Kupp going early here, and that 5.5 receptions feels good. If it moves to 6, I wouldn't touch it, but 5.5 feels good. Targets at 9.5, I don't love, but I think they're going to be slinging it a bunch, especially if they get down. We're going to see quite a bit of it. So that's where we like with Cooper Kupp, and with that, we might as well pair him with his battery mate here and go to Stafford. If they're going to sling the rockets on, we attacked Detroit quite a bit through the air. I think I like the 1.5 passing touchdowns for him. Now, again, I know these are lower payouts, 0.89 and 0.83. It's only a 4.43x for 3x instead of the 6x. But for these 3 plays, I like this. In this matchup, if we go to passing touchdowns allowed, Detroit was ranked 25th, giving up 1.6 passing touchdowns allowed here. And, if we go look at when they played Detroit, that on that January 14th game, he had 2 in that game, but only had 55 pass attempts. I think we'll see more of that. Early in the season on on September 10th last year, when they played Seattle, he had 78. 78 plays were played during that. There are only 38 passing plays out of the 78, 38 out of the 55. But I think we'll see a little bit more here with going up against Detroit. Just hopefully Detroit slings the ball a little bit, gets up, and we'll see some catch up from the Rams on the road. And it's in the Dome, which you love to see as well. No weather right now, of course, but it's always nice to see Dome games when you're looking at fantasy points and throwing the ball. You don't have any elements or anything worried about that. So the LA's also at a 57% pass rate last year compared to run rate. So hopefully slinging the ball with cutback. And those are the 3 plays that we do like here. Hopefully we can keep this thing going for you. Again, if you want access to all the tools over at dailyedgesports.com, head on over there, sign up for Elite. Or if you're a first-time depositor on Underdog, you can get access to all of these tools for free by signing up being a first-time depositor at Underdog. Just follow the instructions on the website and get access to that. And again, these videos I'm going to post for our Elite subscribers. We truly appreciate you guys. Give you guys a little bit more value. With that, see you guys on the flip side. Deuces.